When you invest for your companies, it makes you set up strategic partnership. So you should always be investing as a company as well. All of the things that you want to achieve in your life, right? All of the things, all of the projects that you want to do, you cannot do it with just your money. You need other people's money. You know, your business plan will tell the bank or anybody about the future of your business. It's the audited account or the management account that tells the people about the past of the business. They want to see both. So they want to see the past, they want to see. But most importantly, the cash flow is very much important. This is what the banks don't tell you. Some 3 or 4 years ago, when we want to do charity stuff in my office, some people will come and say, oh, give food to this, feed these people, feed it. But then I then thought about it. I said, look, if we give someone breakfast at 9 o'clock, by 4 o'clock, the person will get hungry again. Can you really, is it a sustainable strategy? So, yeah. So then I developed interest in education and healthcare. So most of my CSR actually revolve around education and healthcare. So the aim of doing this is just not literally train, just to tell young entrepreneurs. I'm also a young entrepreneur myself. Some of the things that we have learned while doing the job, while doing the thing, and then some of the things that business school and probably even classes will not tell you. I found out that while in school, compared to now, we're actually taught the very most irrelevant things. Different kind of rubbish. I'm so sorry to say that, but I mean, yeah. Not to say that there are not a lot of advantages of going to school. Other advantages like, handling pressures, like, knowing how to play in a team and stuff. But what we're taught was, 90% rubbish, to be honest, applying it to real life. I think it was when I started doing stuff and I started, going to business school, in Nigeria and abroad, and then I found out that we should know more. We should know more than what we were actually taught. So, and then, I then said, we'll do Learn Business with Nola. We've done 1, we've done 2. This is the 3rd one. I think Daring got almost, I don't know, maybe 2,000 plus applications, and you are the lucky few, so congratulations. Yeah. Talking about entrepreneurship. I run a real estate company called Veritasi Homes, and then in 5 years, I can say that we have built a very wonderful company. We've been able to deliver a lot of projects because, of course, running a company is about delivery. We've also been able to affect the GDP of, the country as a nation. We've been able to affect directly and indirectly, our staff. I call them my colleagues, feeding people directly and indirectly. We've been able to raise money home and abroad. I said, maybe I can't say abroad yet, but we are on the verge of raising a 250 million USD money in Europe. So I thought that, look, if we can do all of this in 5 years, I should be able to also tell people how to do it. And to be very honest, it's not hard, right? Just that the thing is, we have to learn how to do business according to international best practice, just international best practice. How people have done it, how the Google, how the Apple, how the Tesla have done it. And some of the lies that we were told, we have to be able to unlearn them and then relearn new things. Right? So, usually when we start even before we start our entrepreneurship journey, it's usually the first set of role models, set of people that we see are usually our parents, and then most of the time they're like the next set of people that we see. They're the best set of people that we see. by knowledge, from what I think the only thing that we're not taught how to do is how to cry and how to laugh. Every other thing, to be very honest, can be taught, right? Even, I'll tell you something, to use your brain to the biggest of capacity can actually be taught. I didn't even know how to meditate or, how to create thoughts, how to create strategies. I learned it. I learned it from someone. I went for a class to learn how to sit down somewhere. You have to know your own catalyst and, create your thought, create your strategy, use your brain to the maximum. But we'll talk about that later. So I said here that entrepreneurship is followed by skill set. So it's different kind of skill sets, and then most importantly, the ability to take risk. The ability to take risk, because whether you like it or not, ability to take risk, aiming to profit from it. That's what when I said that I edited this, that's what I put there. So you take risk, aiming to profit from it. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. Literally, that's just it. So you have some skill set that you have gathered from learning from different people. You want to take risk, and then you want to profit from the risk taking. Simple. Then how do you go about it? How do you go about it? Okay. So how do you then take risk, aiming to profit from it? I said, strategy thinking, deal making at top level, negotiation, strategy, and significant decision making. Look, so a lot of people can execute for you, to be very honest. A lot of people, you have your sales people, you have your marketing people, you have your finance people, and all. I think as a CEO, as a leader of a group, what you do mostly is strategic thinking. Negotiation, going to the banks, doing all of this and stuff. But not just thinking, then making decisions. I said something that a lot of people wanted to go to business schools, right? A lot of people want to. There's something they call business school fever. People want to go to business school, wasting £20,000, 20-something thousand pounds to pay for business school, right? But how do you actually really make good decisions? How do you make significant decisions? Is actually by reading case studies, I think the last time I checked, I have read in my lifetime, not a lot of case studies, but I've read 99 case studies. 99. So meaning that I have learned how different businesses have had problems, have come out of their problems, have made money, have negotiated their way to the top, have done a whole lot of things. So now, if me and this Alaja that's probably read 2 case studies, or 5 case studies, or 10 case, I don't know how many case studies you've read, thrown the same problem, meaning that I'm very likely to take better decisions than her, because in my head I have processed so much case studies, and I have seen what top CEOs have done in terms of problem to get them the particular result or not, right? So, and that's how you build up your decision-making ability. So I said cash is king. So all of this story that we have said, right, about an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur is actually someone that makes sure that there's a lot of money in the bank for his company. Simple. That's all of the story that we've said about top level, da. If you then do all of that, and then there is no cash in the bank to take opportunities for your company, you're just doing your hobby. You're not doing any business. That's it. Are you liquid enough to take opportunities when they come, right? And that's everything that we've been talking about. This is it. So you keep a lot of money in the bank. When opportunities come, you take advantage of it. You do negotiations, you do top level decision making, you do this, you're staffed raw, you do all of these things, and then but you have to keep a lot of money. You have to have money. That's the entrepreneur. You might not be profitable, but you have to have money. Look, there's a difference between being profitable and having cash flow. I've said that before. I've said that in my last MBA. Investors would even rather, invest in companies with cash flow than profit. Because I know if I want to invest in your company, for example, right, and it's 1 or 2 years, and then you're doing amazing numbers, right? Say 500 million, you're 1 year company, 500 million, 1.5 billion, 2 billion, and you tell me that, look, I'm losing, right? I would invest, because you know what I did? I just think that you need to tweak 1 or 2 things, and then you'll be profitable, right? Because some business anyway takes like 7 years or 10 years to be profitable. Yeah. The last time I checked, when they said about Uber as a company was not profitable. And I think, you're what? You're 9? Or, yeah? You're 9. Maybe 8 or 9, yeah. And they're still not profitable. But guess what? Every time they go to the market, they find new investors. So what is that? They have cash flow, they have traction, they have users. That's what investors want to see. But I just digressing. Go to the next slide, please. Yeah, go to the next slide also. Yeah. So I said that. So when people go to business school, forking a lot of pounds, a lot of dollars to go to business school before starting their business, most of the time they don't learn anything. When you want to go to a business school, first of all, I want to tell you that I need you to start something. Start, right? Be like 5 months into it, take some risks, do some businesses, then go. Then when you go, you can know all the things that you're being taught in class. Because some of the time, people in the class with you are people that are like 10 years into it. They're advanced in finance, they're advanced in strategy, they're advanced in a lot of things, right? And the lecturer knows this, and they wouldn't come to your level, right? So, and you don't get anything, you just waste it. So that money that you want to take to business school, right? Inject it in that business, let it grow a bit, then go to business school. When you even go to business school, this is what you're taught, right? Actually, if you look at it very well, business in general is all about all of these 4 things that I've listed, right? It's leadership and strategic management, it's finance, it's strategy, it's sales and marketing. I have said it before, I'll say it again, that not all top entrepreneurs are good leaders, right? Look, if you read story about Steve Jobs before, they'll tell you how he was a very bad leader, how he was very ruthless, but was he still successful? Yes. You know why? Because he was a very smart strategist and he knows his numbers and he's very connected with this as well. Yeah? So usually a lot of things are very important. All of these 4 are important, but the ones that are very important the most is if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be very, financially intelligent, strategic. Look, even people that make money, that are not educated, they know their finances. They understand strategy. Yeah, so I saw something on Bloomberg about Hush Puppy, right? I was impressed. This guy understands finance, like he knows the strategy, he knows what to do, what not to do, what to write, when not to write, everything, he understands the strategy. Do you understand? That's the reason why he made it quickly than a lot of people. Steve Jobs, a good leader, maybe not, right? But was he a good strategist? Yes. Was he a good finance person? Yes. Was he connected to the sales and market? Maybe not, but almost yes, right? So look, there was one day I was checking Instagram. I saw this guy, Travis Kalanick of Uber, arguing with a taxi driver. That just tells a story about him not being, that connected with his people. Not a very wonderful. He's actually not a good leader because he's been accused of a lot of things, harassment, this one, that, Travis Kalanick. But look, is Uber a great company? Yes, one of the biggest, most valued, meaning that he knows this, and he knows that. So I'm not saying that is not important. I'm saying it's important, but I'm saying that these 3 are very much more important. However, you have to know about your leadership and your strategic management. So what I will do next is tell you about corporate governance, because corporate governance is how companies have... See, look, let me tell you something about corporate governance. So the way countries will choose the president, and then I remember when Donald Trump was president, first time when he was president, he brought in Travis Kalanick, brought in Elon Musk, brought in, top people, to be part of his advisory. I remember they challenged him then, why are you putting all of these people? And he said that rich people are less likely to steal, number 1. And number 2, he said he can trust decisions of rich people than poor people. And actually, that's almost very correct. Most of the time, I can... What did you say? No, don't connect it to that anyway. But I mean, look, I trust decisions of top entrepreneurs than people on the low to be very, because look, these are people that have taken decisions back to back, learn from bad decisions, take better decisions, hire top people, fire top people, doing all of those, gives you a lot of things in the head and stuff. And it brought them, right? So now I'm trying to compare corporate governance to running a country. So running a country, you have the president, you have ministers, right? You have ministers for finance, you have minister for this, trade and labor, health, all of this. That is how to run a company. Most of us here, wait, let me even call 3 random people. Do you have a board of directors in your company? Yeah, yeah, right. Do you have a board of directors in your company? Good. Let me call someone that I know now, so that it won't look like testimony. Do you have a board of directors? Who is your chairman board? Don't say me, because I'm not. Wait. Go to the next slide. So, this might be a bit abstract, right? I've read a lot of corporate governance books in Nigeria. They're very abstract. I read books in Nigeria. I read this. I have to do a lot of a lot of things to be able to even understand what corporate governance is all about. So this slide is then saying that the ease at which investor will give you money. This is the way companies are governed, making decisions on. Yeah. So look, this literally summarizes it all. So it's the same way a country has a president, has ministers, has this, that. That's the same way a company, right? And it doesn't need to be a public. You don't need to go public for having a strong corporate governance. So, for example, if I'm going to invest in R, and then she brings a proposal, a business plan, a corporate profile, and then she's the only person that does the whole thing. She's the CEO, she's the this, she's the that, she's the, I am less likely to give her money than to give testimony some money. Why? Because I feel like, first of all, not only testimony is running his company, he has executive directors, he has non-executive directors, he has board of advisory, he has board of governance, he has a lot of people that can cage him, even if he decides that he wants to maybe run away with the money or do something else, right? So first of all, when it doesn't matter if your company is 6 months, your company is 12 months, if it's 1 year, if it's 2 years, you have to have very good corporate governance. So first of all, let me ask, right? What's the difference between a shareholder and a stakeholder? Because in a lot of write-ups, I see people using them into me. What's the difference? So first of all, a shareholder is someone that has stock or shares in your company. Now, that's company. So all shareholders are what? Stakeholders. Number 1. But not all stakeholders are shareholders, because stakeholders are then people that have stake in the project. A shareholder has shares, stake in the company. So shareholders are stakeholders, but stakeholders are not shareholders. Most of the time, shareholders are in a public company. Why it is, private public company as well, So, yeah, executive directors are, of course, from the word executive. Execution, their staff, they get paid salaries, they're involved in day-to-day running of the companies, right? And non-executive are just influential people that, policy making, advisors, usually most of the time, the non-exec are called what? The board of advisors. Yeah? Board advisors, non-exec, board of advisors. And then exec are people that, so someone can be head of sales and does sales so well, and then, you don't want to lose that person, and then you put the person on the board as executive director of sales. See? And then someone can do finance, and then she does finance so well, and then then you put the person as executive director of finance. So executive directors are people, that staff that get paid, right? They're involved in day-to-day running of the company, and then the non-exec are the other way. They just, policy making. Usually, non-executive directors represent what? The shareholders. So look, let me tell you. So last year, MTN came out to do an IPO. Wasn't that IPO, SEO? I think it was their initial. The initial, right? Good. So we bought the shares so much that, we bought the shares so much that we thought that, we should have nominating rights. Look, we're supposed to be able to nominate someone on the board. But to be honest, we thought we bought the share so much, but there are a lot of people that bought more than us, you know. So look, let's say we're able to nominate someone, right? If we're able to nominate, I can even nominate myself. I can say, look, I have 100 million shares with MTN. I want to nominate myself. Then when I come in, what do I become? Yeah? Non-executive. But someone in MTN that done so well, that's running MTN, that knows about MTN's numbers and markets and decision making and finance, is what? The executive director. Good. So when you then want to prepare your board, so you have a chairman, board of director, that would be chosen by the board of directors. Yeah? You have people nominated by the shareholders, then you have people nominated by the company or by the CEO, right? Companies that have very strong corporate governance, right? Corporate governance. And they do a little bit of operation, you know, like just strong corporate governance. They package their board very well. I'm telling you this. I mean, it's not supposed to be on camera. They've actually raised more money. They're companies that do a lot of things, you know, also, you know, 100 people on the streets, salespeople, no corporate governance. True, fact, anywhere in the world. I'm telling you this, you know, usually investors give money to paper. What's on the paper? One time, I think it was like last 3 weeks, we were negotiating with Vantage Capital from South Africa. Yeah, they were going to do one of our projects that we're going to do next year in the Atlantic, and then we're talking in Baker. And then I was telling the guy that, look, even go to site with me now. Come and see one of my projects on site. He was not ready to go to site with me. What was he interested in? The paper that I've given to him in what? In Baker. He was saying all of the things that, so he would have made this decision on paper, even if I was lying that my AY's project was my project. So a lot of people, why did they approach us in the first place? Because they saw our 10 billion bonds, right? And how did we even get the 10 billion bond in the first place? Because we have good corporate governance. That's been planned from year 2 of Veritasi. See? So usually, and this is the secret, companies that have very strong corporate governance will attract investors, money, anything that companies that do it. Not to say that you should not do your normal operation. You have to do it because that's what you're collecting the money for. So if you prepare your board like this, you'll be very, very okay anywhere in the world. If you have a chairman, and then let's say you have an executive director of finance, a non-executive director of finance, executive director of finance, then in AGMs, you know, AGMs, annual general meeting, it's talking about the finance from the company from a factual point of view. Like, this is what is happening because I'm running this company, right? And a non-executive director of finance is someone like Coco or like, you know, like Bismarck Rwani, like, who again? Atedo, the top finance guys. That's now, it's not in the day-to-day running. Akim Bilo Osage is someone that is very brilliant, but has run a lot of Nigerian companies now. I'm sorry, but I didn't want to mention his name because of that. So let's say you then have people like Atedo, like, you know, and then giving from his influence point of view that, look, I know this market, this is what has happened, this is what I think you should do. Now, based on general market view, this one based on what companies view. Then let's say you have executive director legal, non-executive director legal. Let's say you put someone like Olumide Akpata on here, you know, former MBA chairman, someone from your company here. Let's say you have executive director operation from your company, yeah, non-executive director operation. So when you want to create your board, especially in Nigeria, countries like Nigeria, not everywhere, to be honest, you know, you want to make it gender balanced, right? So you don't want to put just men on the board. You want to put men and women. You want to put people, you want to make it religiously balanced, Muslim and Christians, because, you know, you might really never know. Someone might say, oh, why is it that all of the people on their board is Igbo? I cannot invest in that company. It happens, right? You want to make it religiously balanced. You want to make it tribally balanced as well, especially for, you know. So you put all of that. If you put the chairman, board of director, and then you call all of these people board of advisors, board of directors, you have a chairman, strong, and then you have your management staff, the CEO, the CFO, the operation person, you have a very strong corporate governance. Let me tell you what this does for you, right? When bank tells you send your corporate profile, that's the first thing they check. Number one, that's the first thing. When they see, oh, CEO, and this is it's red flag. But when they see first board of governance, then board of directors, board of advisory, then chairman with good profile, not politicians. I'm sorry, but it's make your company very credible, very believable, and then you can attract any kind of money that you call. We've been doing this. I've been actually doing this since 16, 17, different kind of business. Fail, do again, fail, do again, fail, do again, right? So, of course, if you've done something for 15, 16, 17 years, you must have learned a lot, and then you can then say people that, look, I've done this did not work. Actually, this was what you were taught in school, theoretically, but this did not work when I did it 5 times, then this worked. Or put a bit of this. So someone would then ask, who is more powerful between the chairman board and the CEO? The board of directors don't make decisions, right? So they advise, right? They're like I said, when you're running a country, like the ministers, like the special advisors. So they advise, say, look, if you do it like this, it will be like this. If you don't do it like this, it will be like this. So the CEO is the managing director that makes decision. That's why you're the managing director, all right? So what they advise, but they are very influential because they are the one, in a public company, they are the one nominated by the shareholders to represent them. And the shareholders' money is what you're spending anyway, so they are very influential. So another thing you have to know is if you can get shares into a company so much that then you then use it as collateral to take loans. Yeah. Not necessarily. You can even use your share certificate if it's big to buy another company. Did you know that? Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Oh, you don't, so this is it. You don't need to dilute your shares. Yeah? Get money. Then, before you buy another company, no. You only need to do valuation of your shares and buy another company with the valuation of your shares. Even if it's much more than the company that you want to buy, right? You put your share valuation with a trustee. Yeah? You take part of it to acquire. When Femi Adetola bought Geregu from FO, right? He had I think 70% of FO, if I'm correct. Of course, diluted some, got some cash. It was one of the best M&A deals in Nigeria then. Got some cash, got it to dollar, took it out of the country, used the rest to acquire Geregu and went into partnership directly with Dangote. Neat deal, became richer and then became what? Another company owner and exited. Neat deal. So for board of directors, board of governance is more political than the actual stuff, right? So they're very influential, they're very political, they can influence, they can nominate because actually they are there because of the shares, right? But for the CEO direct, make strategic decisions, take advice from them, and this is how I want you to build your company. This is how I want you to build. From today, when you get back home, this is how I want you to build your company. Go create a very nice board for yourself, board of advisory, board of directors, the chairman, be the CEO, work with good hands, you can get diluted, offer people that are very smart, that you cannot pay. You can offer them equity, they might even be working for you part-time, yeah? But have a very strong board, a very strong profile. It's number one, it will help you raise money quicker, it will help you make B2B sales quicker. And this is the truth. Now, go to the next slide, Buki. So I said this, right? I said companies with strong corporate governance. Have you never wondered how there's Mercedes-Benz, right? Mercedes, a company. How old are they? A lot year old. And then the last valuation was it $40 billion? I think 48 billion USD. And then there is Honda, there is Toyota, all of them together 200 billion USD. And then there is Tesla. Almost 1 trillion USD. And they've barely sold then 100,000 cars. Have you never wondered what happened? What happened? If actually it's the amount of cars that you've sold that results to money that gives the valuation of a company, then what then happened for a company that sold millions of cars and then one that sold just 100,000 and is worth like times 2 or times 5 of them? What happens? How were they able to achieve
Elon Musk is bored. Yeah, so for someone that comes to me and says, I'm buying Twitter. So is just like you mentioned it, as a CEO, for you to own an idea.
So I'll tell you something, right? Some of the things I did, right? So when he left PayPal, and I had a lot of money, right? First of all, Elon has the ability to attract investors, number one. And how, right? Of course, it's innovative ideas, right? But I'll tell you something today. I want you to know that, when you do sales, you want to get money into the company, right? When you seek investment, you also want to get money in the company, right? But if you really know how to do it very well, if you know how to do your papers, your corporate governance, your business plan, your cash flow projection, all of these things, this is quicker and will give you more money than this. Sales is actually hard. What do you sell? Oh, you're good. You know what I'm talking about. Sales is actually hard. I'm a realtor too. I know. So I'll tell you something, right? In the last 5 years, we have raised more money, right, than gotten more money from sales. How? If sales was easier, I would have gone and said, realtor, sales, this, that. Say, push you. But we have raised more money, and we're going to raise. So I'll tell you something. In the next 10 years, would have raised, from our projection, would have raised at least times 10 of what we've sold. Fact. And guess what? Both of them are money. So, both of them, there's no sales money and investment money. Both of them are money. Because both money, we want to use it for business, some other business. We'll still talk about what you talked about in strategy. Yeah? But what I'm trying to say is, so Elon run a very capitalized company because he was able to attract investors. And then most of the time, the Tesla model, one thing is coming, put it on sale, pre-launch prices, and people pay, right? But guess what? The marketing budget, the branding, the amount of money put into the R&D, right? The research and development to be able to say some of the bold things that he said, right? It's not from sales. Because how do you have the mind to put 100 million USD from sales money to R&D? Are you normal? You're not normal. Because what do you want to use to build cars? Right? You have to position. How do you do it? Number one is corporate governance. It's corporate governance. Corporate governance, first of all, your corporate profile, then your business plan.